I'll also be live here. Cheers on Amazon. Speaking of Amazon, cheers, everybody. I'm also going to be live on TikTok if you guys want to check that out. But here on Amazon, we're going to be going over not only mobility and some soft tissue work today. So if you're feeling tight, you're getting back into the school routine. I know a lot of us have either kids going back to school, you're getting back into school. We're going to go over some demonstrations on some stretches and some mobility stuff, especially if you're behind the desk, whether for school, work, whatever's going on. I don't know. I feel like everyone's kind of agreeing with the same concept that September is going to be just ramping things up. It makes sense. Back to school, the fall time routine, summer's kind of closing. So I wonder for you guys, if you guys are feeling that as well. And, oh, what's up, Jasmine? Love right back at you, homie. And then I like the new setup. Oh, thank you on Facebook. Hold on. I can't see who that is. So let me pull up Facebook and join into the group. But yeah, we're slowly getting the new office situated, test running through everything. So again, here on TikTok, if you guys want to feel or not only feel included, I was going to say feel included, drop questions. I'll gladly kind of go back and forth. I'm here on all of our platforms, kind of managing everything. We have a guest joining in today. Shout out to Christian. You guys will see which Christian I'm referring to. And let me see. Oh, is that Melody? What's up, Mel? Hold on. It's Chuck. Yeah, Chuck. Chuck, I got to get you back on the podcast and just down here to Ashley so you can check out the gym, the new office setup, be able to check out the new gym we have next door, get some training in at Rogue. And then you guys, if you want, now not only is the LOF HQ set up where we have our office space that we're slowly going to be like just bringing up the decor and everything. Like, don't mind the little patches and whatnot. I'll bring you guys on a full tour. Oh, what's up, Luda? He's back. Maybe. What do you mean maybe? Come on, Chuck. We will see. I'm totally going to get you on. Yeah, Luda. So yeah, y'all, I'm going to start with, again, we're going to have a giveaway here. So if you guys hang in till the end, I'm going to give you guys a fun giveaway as just a thanks for joining and staying till the end of the stream. Today, we're shooting for about probably 45 to 60 minutes. Maybe it'll run longer. Maybe it'll run shorter. So that's why you got to stay in, hang out, ask questions. And again, the topic we're going over today is the back to school routine and being able to get in mobility and stretches. So if you're working behind the desk, you're back into school. For my college students, my regular, even high school or whatever academic level you're going to, or my working professionals, corporate professionals, getting back into the office, back into the routine. We'll also talk about some supplements I have here, the role they play, and then also I want to do a little bit of a deep dive into one of the supplements I got, which I like, Cellucor. They're a sponsor of ours. I like their products, but I did want to touch on, they have an HD fat burner. And while I'm not going to knock that it can have a positive impact if you're using it and also staying in the correct caloric intake and activity levels and rest and all those things, I did want to highlight one of the things I think is sneaky about this, that I think will ultimately makes most fat burners work, is the stimulant side of it. Not always, but at least for this one, what I'm seeing, the caffeine blend and just the amount it has in there, that's really where predominantly the value for this. And it even says, and I'll highlight also, shout out to OBS Bot, our camera systems. We got all of our cameras sponsored by OBS Bot, both here and in Joshua Tree. Ooh, let's see who we got comments. I'm swiping the wrong way. My bad, Joe. I'm swiping the wrong way. And again, guys, here on TikTok, drop your comments, and not only for what you want to see me talk about, any products, anything around the back to school time fitness routine. If there's any particular areas you guys are feeling tight with, whether it's your back, your neck, I've done videos on that just as an example. Or you have questions on what I'm kind of talking about with the supplement breakdown. But actually, before I do that, let's talk about skin elements. Before I go into our actual supplement breakdown, this whole rant I was doing, I do have one of our sponsors I want to shout out. You guys are going to see me kind of lean to the right and lean to the left because I have, honestly, a lot of our products not stored on shelves yet. It's just pretty much kind of scattered throughout the floor just for the live stream. So I'm working on our organization and whatnot. But one of the cool parts to this is being able to have easy grab and kind of go options. So one of the things I want to highlight is Skin Elements Men Wash. Shout out to Skin Elements. Now this blend they have right here, this is their like just foam on. Man, I haven't used it yet, so I just wanted to highlight the reason that captured my attention is like, especially after I just got out of training earlier, came here, got a shower here, but being able to have, I just want to like show you guys what it's going to look like. A little bit of like foam, almost like a sanitizer. Obviously, like realistically, I would go like do this in the shower, the wash, and just like kind of, again, this is specifically designed for those intimate moments, right? So if you like, let's say you get after the gym like I do, you get after it, you want to make sure that those intimate parts of your body are going to be nice, clean, smelling good. So whatever activities you're going to do with your partner, your loved one, you're glowing like, oh, thank you. Yeah, it's just the right lighting. Then plus the Skin Elements Intimate Wash, putting that together, it's kind of the double whammy of it. Now, the other cool thing is you can get just the unscented kind of like standard one. They also do have scented options, which I'm going to pull up right now. I know passion fruit is #1, and that's one that my wife absolutely loves. But if you want like a scented free option for whatever reason, maybe allergies or just preferences, boom, you can go with the unscented. But passion fruit seems to be where it's at, not only from what my wife says, but just from like the overall reviews for that product. But yeah, Skin Elements. And plus right now, this is why you guys, again, if you're on TikTok or anything like that, I highly recommend hopping over to Amazon. If you guys want on Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're watching from, hop on over to Amazon because you get an exclusive deal, 15 additional % off and early access, or I'm sorry, early delivery with Prime when you're a Prime member. And if you're not, you get kind of incentive for that. So check this bad boy out. And I'll be doing some more follow-up videos, but I just kind of wanted to do an unboxing. I always love to unbox first and then do some just follow-up, like actual me using it, applying it, and giving you guys some more feedback. And just that smell, like, or really like not lack, like it's the just freshness that I can kind of pinpoint it to. And again, if you guys got questions, let me know in the comments, in the chat. I see you guys here on TikTok, as well as Amazon and everywhere else. What I realized though, we didn't share it to the Discord. So let's get it on our Discord real quick, make a real-time share. And then again, if you guys got questions, feel free to let me know. Anything I can kind of dig into. But in the meantime, I'm going to drop all the funsies in the Discord. And how is, I also want to know, how's the audio sounding? Not only here on Amazon, I got one mic, but TikTok, how's the audio sounding for you guys? Is it echoey? Is it choppy? I have a different mic for that as well. So I like to experiment. And again, this is like a test run. The next 2 weeks, guys, I'm going to be keeping the live streaming going again, and we're going to be repurposing a lot of this content, but it's basically just experiments right now. So all the feedback you have, good, bad, whatever it sounds like or may not sound like, I'd love to hear it just to optimize the experience. And my wife's going to come and help me kind of with the decoration side. So you guys will see some more fun decor. But I wanted to highlight, speaking of decor, this is just like, I think a great way of like, don't be a dick. Don't be a D. Pretty simple, right? It's a simple concept, not always easy. Simple doesn't mean easy, but this one's I'm going to put in the bathroom. And there's another one that this company has that I really like. It just says, let that ish go. And I feel like obviously that's a perfect one for the bathroom, right? Like, don't you want to just let it go? Just let it go. And if you can see from a sizing perspective, I think it's 12 by 4. Let's double check that. So, but not massive, but it's just like a nice little kind of like funny thing to put a smile on your face. Kind of set the mood a little bit, or set the tone, less of the mood. Probably, hopefully not set the mood in the bathroom, right? Maybe you are. I don't know. All right, let's see if we got any other questions. I'm just getting the link up. Boom. And again, once Christian gets here, I'm going to have a guest come down where you guys can drop in your own questions as well. We're going to talk about everything from like fitness, lifestyle, MMA, combat sports, and then also get some kind of additional perspective on some of the products and supplements. Because I always like to obviously share my perspective, but if you guys have specific questions or comments or thoughts, I also love hearing that. And also, like, I've shared content and people are like, actually, like, I think this would work better here, or that's like actually not 100% true, or whatever perspective. Like, listen, I want to hear it. So feel free to share. And then I'll highlight, we'll go into branched chain amino acids. This is the hybrid nutraceuticals. So what I wanted to also share with you guys is a little bit of the process I use, the like actual system on how I check supplements. And I've never actually, because I haven't worked with hybrid nutraceuticals yet. So I kind of wanted to share with you guys like what my perspective as a board certified health coach, as a certified trainer, and just professional in the health and wellness space, what do I kind of do to be able to check the legitimacy or any potential concerns of a supplement? Because especially supplements aren't regulated as heavily. They can be investigated and obviously like flagged if people are like failing drug tests or something's coming up or there's a tip off with that, but just something to kind of like keep in mind. And again, I'm going to remind you guys, hang until the end. We're going to have a giveaway announcement that you guys are going to hopefully find a lot of value in. I know every time I've released it, I've heard value from everyone. Like, for example, I'll share one story where they reversed their type 2 diabetes with the nutrition protocol that we implemented from this giveaway and with the exercise plan and what they're kind of doing with their physician already. Again, it's not medical advice, it's just an opportunity to get some great resources that can tremendously impact your overall health and quality of life. That's just my 2 cents there. All right, boom. Finally got the link. Let's get it up on Discord. Right now. Okay. And again, I'd love to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comments to share this with everybody. Feel free to drop questions. I want to know what's going down. Where can we add value? What do you want to know about, whether it's from the supplements, against the mobility we'll get into. We'll do some demonstrations when Christian gets here for some mobility instructors, especially behind the desk, getting back to the school time routine, all of those things, and just trying to add or always hoping to add value for you guys. All right, let's just take that. Boom. We'll drop our messages here in the chat. Shabam. And then we'll give it a minute. We'll let some more people roll in. Also, let's see. What else we want to talk about? I've got, you know what I wanted to try? These like little ginger bites. Oh, these are tablets. So I thought these were actual like easy to swallow, taste free. So these are just like straight up tablets. I thought they were actual like chewies, like ginger chewies for your stomach. But it looks like they're actually just tablets. And it's for motion sickness, nausea, upset stomach. I think ginger in general, but like obviously I always try and get it from the source when possible, like direct actual food instead of having like, this is a ginger extract that's turned into a tablet. Not the end of the world. But again, to me, this is like point of supplements. Supplements are going to supplement your actual nutrition food. Yeah, Christian. What's up, dude? And perfect timing. Christian's here, guys. So I was just kind of like, started maybe if you want to just, I've really kind of experimenting with the setups. Okay, so Christian, TikTok's over here, Amazon, everybody else over here. Got on Amazon, all this. So what I figured we would do, especially once you got here, kind of do a little fun, just kind of podcast, more talk about the theme, add value like mobility, stretching, but also go over some supplements. And I'd love to get your perspective on stuff like this, because one of the things that was coming up, or I was bringing up, is like having a system on like, if I'm trying a supplement company for the first time and I don't know anything about them, how do I approach actually like running them through a check to see if they're legit or not, or concerns, or really do what they do? So I wonder, I'm going to kind of share my kind of procedure with everyone. I wonder if you have something that you like as well.
Experience has taught me that you got to do some due diligence to make sure that since there's no regulations federally that manage the requirements for the ingredients to actually be in the products, you have to do some research on your own. There's a couple of sites, and I don't have them off the top of my head, that I go to that independently test all these different supplements that they list and give you the actual percentage and quantities of like, if there's a good creatine that I want, then I'll check it up and see if it's legit.
Yeah. So one that, and I'm just going to share an actual resource that I use, but I think exactly to your point, Christian, is being able to have like a third party kind of independent organization that can check this stuff. One that I got, we were talking about school before when I was going to Stony Brook. One they shared both for in the athletic training program, but also for the athletes, is taking a nutrition and supplement course, which is just kind of like a standard. And one of the websites and resources that they shared in this course was quackwatch.org, which is kind of like a funny name, but it's like the idea, and hopefully you can kind of tell from the insinuation of Quackwatch, it's watching for like quackery or like just kind of BS, basically. It's a BS meter. And what it ultimately does, from my understanding of it, it just pools together any organizations or companies. Let's name like Cellucor. We have a Cellucor product. Let's pull up Cellucor, and then we'll look up and see if there's any articles or any violations or anything like that that comes up with that name. It doesn't look like it's super fast right now. I'm going to play with the internet. How's jiu-jitsu, by the way?
I left early because I needed to get some other things done at the house. So training took a back seat today.
So it took a little pivot.
But I mean, I got the strength and conditioning portion done early. So something is better than nothing on any given day.
Damn, Skippy. That's always the case. And dude, you don't want to know what happened, by the way? So I'm going to tell you guys a story. I'm going to pull up my cam link really quick. And also for you guys at TikTok, if there's any streamers that you guys will probably be able to speak to this. So I'm going to pull up the cam link. Again, I have it here on Amazon. So if you guys are watching on any of the other platforms, hop over to Amazon. This cam link has been a bit of a pain in the butt. I'm just going to be transparent with you guys. So I just ordered one. So this is why I left the gym early to get it. It literally, as I was pulling up to the house, was being delivered. So it was like perfect timing. Now, let's see if you can.
Those do not look to be the same size.
Yeah, like do you see like one's kind of maybe a little bit more crooked
and bigger than the other.
Christian, have you rolled with Mike? So this is my business partner Chuck in the comments. It only says Facebook user, but that's for sure Chuck. And he's asking, have you rolled with Mike?
Which Mike?
Me. Have you rolled with me? Yeah, we've rolled together.
Oh,
So, yeah.
oh yeah. Lots.
Chuck's gonna talk some smack right now. So Chuck is a brown belt up in New York. And so the thing is, just because he thinks he's a brown belt, he can just like work me over. I'm like, Chuck, it's going down, bro. So when you do finally come to Asheville, you get to train. Or when I'm up in New York. Last time I was in New York, I didn't get to train with him. So next week when I go up, Chuck, by the way, I'm going to be in New York Thursday to Sunday next week. What was the outcome? When we roll, like we rolled multiple times. You see, Chuck just wants to know, like, do you choke Mike out? That's what Chuck. That's what you want to know, Chuck.
It's mostly going to my go-to of the executioner, Chuck.
Why do you think I would talk smack? Past experience would indicate or specifically that. All right, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm also going to end it on TikTok. Thank you guys for joining us over here. I wanted to experiment with this. Now, again, I'm going to be experimenting. We're going to stay here, obviously, on Facebook, on YouTube, LinkedIn, Amazon, Twitch, all that good stuff. But honestly, I wanted to give you guys a little sneak peek. And with that being said, on TikTok, you guys hop on over to Amazon. You got the link in my bio. And then we'll be back next week and continue to experiment with the live streaming stuff. Now, let's see. Swipe to the left. Boom. Didn't get any comments. Thought I missed some comments, but I didn't miss any, so we're good. Never. Oh, sure, Chuck. Sure. You say that now. That's what you say now. But, Chuck, you're going to be around next week. Speaking of this. Let's see if I can end this. And now, bam. So, yeah, let's talk about this cam link really quick. So this is what I originally went home for. One is bent. This is the original bent one. This is why I got this new one. Right. Got the new one. That's all good. Now I plug it in. The cable doesn't work. So now I got to order a new cable. Yeah, but that cable's like $10, so it's not a big deal. Are you going to come to Sucker Free? Yeah. So what I was planning on doing, Chuck, here's the move. I'm going to drive up Thursday after I have some morning appointments. Then we're going to drive all night. So I'll get in like 1 a.m, wake up Friday, and just basically do 2 days starting Friday. I have some like virtual calls in the middle of the day. So we'll do a morning session, then an evening session, hang by the pool in the middle. So definitely Sucker Free. I was figuring Saturday, right? They have like open mat or something. I figured they'll have like a more adjustable schedule. I am sweet. It's going down with Chuck next week. And then I figured, well, also I'm going to try and get into Tito's garage. Tito's one of my other striking coaches, and maybe Tony too. And that's his brother. So there's like 2 brothers that like coach me in striking, the Flores brothers up in New York. And they're like guys that I've been like, I'm going to slowly talk everybody to come down to Asheville at one point or another. But sounds like comp class on Saturday. Yes, dude, that's perfect. So yeah, so 100% comp class on Saturday. You're going to love comp class. Yeah, that's like Chuck's way of saying like it's going to be miserable. Right. But that's part of the fun. Right? All right, so now we're going to pivot a little bit. I just want to highlight the OBS bot. We'll talk about some products in a little bit, but now that you're here, kind of settled in. And also, guys, as you're watching live, feel free to drop any questions or comments. Christian, I want to talk about you, dude. And this is, so you're actually helping test run a bunch of systems. So Chuck, any feedback you have also, or anyone has, feel free to share in the chat. But we're going to have basically a guest on for pretty much every single podcast and live stream we do every week, whether here in the office or remotely. And then if you guys want to ask questions, we're going to go through a little bit. So I kind of want to talk on the hybrid of both, you know, where things are at currently and what you're working on. And then you can plug also the shop, which is like a fun contrast. We talked about this quite a bit. So for those of you that don't know, Christian owns 10th Muse Comfort Foods it's on Hendersonville. I always say this, but it's on Patton. Yeah, it's on Patton. I always say Hendersonville. I don't know why. So on Patton here in Asheville. And so maybe actually let's start with that and then reverse engineer. Okay. And go all the way back to the origins of Vegas. So first, you have this shop here in town. And I think it's an interesting kind of like
dichotomy.
Yeah, because on the flip side of that, you're also someone that's extremely into the health, wellness, like staying ready. So actually, maybe we start with that concept too of like stay ready so you don't have
My new
to
brand?
get ready. Yeah. And then like reverse work us through how that maybe even ties into 10th Muse Comfort Foods and then back to Vegas.
Similar to what you do here, I'm just trying to build an awareness in a and target some folks, specifically folks with families and people that feel like they are responsible at some level or have a duty to the folks around them. So that being the case, men, women, moms, dads, anyone who feels like they need to be ready when possibly emergent
Down.
What's that?
I said when it goes down.
Yeah,
sorry, guys.
possibly emergent situations arise, right? So the idea behind the brand is you don't have to get ready if you stay ready. And staying ready means that I'm in jiu-jitsu twice a week. I'm in Muay Thai twice a week. I shoot once a week. I dry fire 3 times a week. I do all the things that I can to stay ready for worst case scenario emergent situations. I mean, I lift 3 times a week so that I can be strong enough to be able to get my family or anyone else around me out of the building if I have to carry them.
When it goes down.
So every day, not every day, I guess, as I'm building it, the idea is to post things and create some awareness of stay ready. If this speaks to you, stay ready so that you are capable when it goes down.
And speaking of stay ready, I thought what better time to bust out one of our new knives that we just got from Kitchen Perfection. So I'm just gonna kind of drop that right. Oh, look at that plate. So that's what we're also testing transparently is like, how do I position things that looks optimal on screen, but not too distracting? And I'm curious if it's distracting you as well. And you guys feel free to share in the comments. And this is, again, I want to make it as interactive as possible, whether it's questions, but also just feedback or just random things like Chuck saying there's going to be comp class that's going to go down on Saturday, which I'm excited for. Or just Luda saying, yeah, we're back. Or yeah, Jasmine. So whatever platform you guys are on, just feel free to share. Also, Christian, let's talk about, so now take a step back.
Okay.
So now we'll go, I always like to kind of jump around, but I like to see where it kind of, so I always like to look at like why we are where we are and like the influences you had there. So now let's go back to Vegas and talk about like getting into martial arts and then starting to lead to your martial arts journey too, because that's like.
Okay, so back when I was 12, I discovered Kempo Karate back when there were no MMA gyms and MMA wasn't around yet because I'm old. That's how old I am. I was here for the invention of the UFC. I saw it happen.
Sainted.
So I started in karate, and it was the first place that I felt comfortable and where I had found a talent for something. And because of that, it had me there every day. And then came the hyper focus, and I worked on it a lot, and through high school, and then after high school, and then the UFC happened, and it changed everything. Right, even way back when it was terrible and no one was in shape and nobody knew how to do anything, it changed the game because you were seeing karate and taekwondo and different things just
Chuck started with Kempo too.
Just lose.
Fun fact.
And so I was in college at the time, and I dropped out of college and moved to California and initiated as a member of the Lions Den with Ken Shamrock and Frank Shamrock. In fact,
throwback.
The house that I lived in was myself, Frank Shamrock, and Oleg Toktarov, who won UFC 6 in Casper, Wyoming. I was there as a team member when it happened. So I did that. And had to leave that, and I took sort of a break for a while. But then, once I ended up back in Vegas, I was training at JSET, which is, if you don't know who John Lewis is, he is one of the influences that led to the UFC being the UFC with the Fertitas. And it was like one of only 2 places in all of Las Vegas back then that you could do jiu-jitsu. Now it's the Mecca, and so that's how far back I go. And I've just been like a hobbyist, playing around and fan and worked some here as some training and quartering and stuff in the past, and now I just enjoy it. I'm too old to fight, so I can help others be better if I can.
He gets a coach, and that's like the long term. That's the infinite game. I feel
Right.
like instead of the finite game, a fight career is very much a finite game, but the infinite game is like the wisdom, the knowledge, and the techniques being refined and passed along throughout,
Right.
whether from camp to camp, person to person, fighter to fighter, whatever that looks like. And also like I always think it's cool to see like, oh, like Chuck, I didn't know Chuck started in Kempo, for example, or maybe he mentioned at one point, like there's so many other things that me and Chuck have like kind of gone through or dug into from the past. So fun to note, Chuck. And then, okay, so that's starting and getting into martial arts. Then the other aspect I always like to explore too is like even lifestyle, fitness side of it. How does it impact your lifestyle outside of the gym? Because a lot of times there's that carryover, right?
Well, so more so when I was all the way back in the karate days, I was learning all these different techniques and the names and sort of the Asian roots of it, which led me to immediately want to read about Asian philosophy, which is so much different from Western frameworks and perspectives that it gave me a lot of insight on different ways to look at things. So like, I know everybody knows some version of the quote of how you do anything is how you do everything. And so that concept of like excellence becoming like a practice in what you do on everything sort of became internalized over time because of that. And it helped me face, school or different things that weren't on the physical plane with sort of the same mentality of just figure out how to improvise, adapt, and overcome, right? Isn't that the phrase? And for me, frequently it was just head on. But there was it all started with martial arts and the perspectives and philosophy that you learn outside of punching and kicking.
Like the principles at play, right? And then, so you also mentioned school too. So I think that's also a fun little like thing to dive into and take just a detour on is like your academic background and passions around that as well. How'd you got into it? Because from my understanding, it's also like criminal science, right?
Criminal justice,
So having that criminal justice kind of focal point, I'd love to hear more about like where your passions are with that and how that also applies into even like the overlap of martial arts even like.
Well, yeah, martial arts gives you the mentality and the perspective on how to approach the work because I have a bachelor's in criminal justice from UNLV, and then my master's is a dual special focus master's work from Cincinnati. And I just have always had sort of a sheepdog mentality. And if you're not familiar with that, you can look up David Grossman and Sheepdog, which is wanting to protect the flock around you. If you're not familiar, basics, quick and dirty, there are three kinds of folks in the world. There are sheep, which is everyone in society, and you can be different versions at different times, right? Sheep is not bad. It's just part of the flock, the communal. There are wolves. Those are folks who are built differently and they prey on the sheep. And then there are sheepdogs who have much the same build of a wolf, but they protect the flock. There's the quick and dirty version of David Grossman's.
There you go, David Grossman. Thank
David
you.
Grossman, Sheepdog on Combat is the book it's from. So that being the case, I also feel like anytime that you have the chance to use science, intelligence, technology, that is how you win in most cases. So I wanted to be educated in those things to impact them.
Does that look right?
As I had an opportunity. I haven't seen that one before. It's just a quote from the book On Combat is where it came from.
Does that say Dove Grossman? Oh no, Dave. Okay.
Yeah, Lieutenant Colonel David Grossman.
I always like to see if it's like any version of anything's available on Amazon. So I always love like sharing and plugging you guys because there's so many like fun things that you can find, like whether it's books, but anyways. So with that being said, now we're going to kind of play a little like pivot game. So we're going to kind of tag back and forth. I figure we'll continuously dive in. That's where you guys can also feel free to share questions in the chat, whether on Amazon, Facebook, like any of the other platforms you're seeing this on, or if you guys are consuming this after the fact, after the live, and you guys are like, what are you talking about live? So if you guys are watching the podcast or listening to the podcast version, you can also go to our live streaming schedule. You can see that on Amazon. You'll see it kind of posted up when we're streaming, who the guests are going to be. And then also below, you'll see the information for Christian's social media, for the business. And then is there anything else like maybe new that you want to plug that we haven't like really factored for?
No, I mean, the Stay Ready is becoming a brand, right? It's sort of something that I'm going to start doing not far off from this of things that you can do to stay ready for
Yeah.
emergent situations. And fitness is one of them. Following a nutrition plan. It just depends on what motivates you and at what level you want to be ready. Right? Are you ready for combat? Like, that's a whole different level than somebody that's a hobbyist that just wants to be able to take care of the folks around him and not get in trouble when it gets hot.
Yeah, it's like, how do I get out? So like, this is, I'm going to take a quick pause for a second, just because that's an interesting story to tag in as I'm looking for also going back to the knife and eye, because I realized we were kind of like showing it, but I wanted to just highlight some key features to it before we move on and go into the next product too that I have. And like, so we'll kind of basically, the fun part I'm gonna experiment with is like, we'll do some questions and stories and talk about you, but then we'll go over a couple of products. And I'd love to get your thoughts too as a guest, because like, you don't really know anything about these products. So it's kind of fun to get like, what do you, like you were talking about before, can you find the on off button? Like I couldn't find it earlier with one of the speakers from one of our sponsors, and it was actually like right in front of my face, just like too close sometimes to find it. So I wonder, the brand name is Kitchen Perfection. So I kind of want you to like, just look at, I'll pull it up and I want you to give me your thoughts, just like unboxing it. And also like, I have a passion for knives from my like childhood, but I haven't stayed very up to date on, like materials and like what you look for. And also I'm curious if there's anything that jumps out at you. So obviously Kitchen Perfection from the name hopefully gives away this is like for the kitchen.
Right.
It's not like maybe a hunting-esque so we have it's an 8-inch hand forged high carbon steel. Boom. Let's see. It's got the sheath. I'm going to just look to see if there's anything else that's jumping out. It's like a unique component to it. Ooh, got a lifetime warranty guarantee. It's always fun.
It shows up oiled.
Ooh.
They were trying to take pretty good care of it after they got them.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, so probably the oil they left on it from getting the edge right. It's weighty. It has good weight to it. I don't know. I would have to cook with it and tell you. Cut some steaks and some veggies and see how it felt.
So that's what I wonder too. When you see a knife like this, what kind of things are you thinking about applying it to? Because like I don't have such a sensitivity to knife sizing, handles, and weights to the point where I'm like, all right, I'm going to use this, for example, thick veggies versus like a bone-in chicken, et cetera, et cetera.
The shape makes it nice the curve of the blade makes it nice to roll it as you're slicing stuff. So
good point.
It certainly looks and feels like a nice knife. I would have to cut some veggies or some meat before I
give it a real break on.
Yeah, before I gave it a load. The sheath is very nice, so you're going to be able to keep it nice and safe in that guy.
Let's go on. So like, and again, I like to just first show you guys like an unboxing video so you can kind of get to see it, get an expectation for it. And then the other thing I've noticed when they ship, I've had companies ship knives, is just like those little bumpers here to just keep it like safe and protect it. And also make sure like while it's shipping doesn't tear into anything. Let's see what the sheath, how it looks and feels. Probably should have wiped this off, right?
It's all right if it's a little oily in there, right?
That's
bad. Where it lives.
Yeah, it's not bad too. So it was like really, and then boom, and you got a nice little. I like that presentation too, just the kind of like coloring scheme of it, the handle, okay, all the way through. We'll see over time too, and I'll make a follow-up video as well. That's what I always like to do is like, how does this hold up a year down the line? How does it hold up 2 years down the line? And then being able to see, do we really even need that warranty at a certain point? So, all right, so that's like one of the fun products. We'll kind of tag back in. So now, one of the other things is getting from Vegas to here. That's like a gap I figure we could dive into and bridge. How do we go from Vegas to Asheville, North Carolina? That's like another fun one.
Well, so I was in Vegas and had a couple little small businesses in Vegas. And then my father has lived out in this area for a long time. And I was just ready to be out of the Vegas heat. And since he's not far from here in Waynesville, I decided I would to be closer to the fam to get the chance to see more of them.
Nice. And then how long have you been out here?
5 years this year.
Oh, wow. So yeah, so it's been like a bit. What, if anything, do you miss about Vegas? I feel like that's an interesting one.
I miss some places that I really enjoyed eating, and I miss some people. And that's pretty much it.
So like food and people,
Yeah,
right? Like
I mean, us the places I trained, but that's
Train-
also
okay.
like that's also sort of connected to people.
that's people, right? Yeah, I get that.
So like, yeah, everybody, if you spend enough time any place long enough, you will develop your food and drink places. And so I miss Grouchy John's. It's my buddy's coffee shop, and it's fantastic out there.
That's a great.
It is a great name.
That's awesome.
And I miss that place. He really was instrumental in helping me start my coffee shop here, so I'm pretty thankful to them. They do great
Ooh,
stuff.
speaking of which, let's pull up Instagram.
Grouchy John's, Las Vegas.
I'm gonna pull up. Yeah.
And I don't miss the weather.
The heat, yeah, no bueno. So what I wanted to do too is pull up. Do you want both your like Instagram and the 10th Muse, or just
Yeah,
10th
sure.
Muse? Because I forget the cool thing. Check this out. We can also do a screen share for you guys watching again live or watching the video replay of this. You're gonna probably see a nice little screen share as well, so you can give 10th Muse Comfort Food a follow. Just to, like again, we're talking about the dichotomy, the irony of it. Like let's just watch this video back real quick.
This is, I think, our latest shake creation of birthday cake,
Whoa.
Oreos, and birthday cake things to make a blended sundae or a shake out of it. So,
And one of the things we were talking about too, and I wanted to just share that you guys can check just below in the description when you guys are watching this or listening to it to get more information. We're also going to be dropping a dessert book. That's like one. So we have our barbecue book, which I'll highlight actually right now. We're eventually going to get to the speakers as well. But we just dropped our barbecue book over the summer in July. Then at the end of August, the goal is to have the dessert book. I think we're going to originally, so I set like very like lofty timeline goals. And sometimes I get torn on like just doing it just to hit the deadline or to delay it, yeah, and like really, see it through, because we have pretty much all the like recipes, but it's like I want to make sure we have time for a photo shoot. We'll go and but Sam will be out there, so like we'll be able to, or what, like being able to set it up, we'll be able to record it, get the content, really do it nice, and have the images. Because even for the barbecue, in case you guys are wondering, the barbecue cookbook is awesome, and we haven't scheduled the paperback because I'm going to continuously roll out updates to it with images and some additional things that we didn't put in it while the initial launch was happening. So the cool thing, and the reason we did it that way, is with the Kindle edition, as we update it, if you've downloaded the Kindle, you automatically get that new edition. If it's a paperback, once it's printed, that's it. So we wanted to wait until we had our finalized, revised version to put out on the paperback. But I figured we can start with even the dessert book by the end of August with that original version, give it away for 5 days. That's always my favorite thing to do, just so you guys know. When we do a new book, we do a Kindle giveaway for 5 days. So that's one of the bonuses. Speaking of giveaway, if you guys hang in all the way to the end, I'll tell you about a giveaway we got going down with that. So anyways, with that being said, maybe we can even do a live stream version of it out of the shop. I don't know, like that might be chaotic and crazy.
I'm not scared.
Yeah. Christian's like, I got this. Let's do it.
Stay ready.
Yeah, that's the whole beautiful, again, segue into the whole concept. Stay ready. All right, so we're going to bring it back. So get here, get to be able to have more time with the family, getting into Rogue. Talk to me about like training at Rogue. And also like what I'd love to hear from you is like, because I have a very like pretty much systematic way of finding a gym when I first go to an area. And kind of Rogue broke one of my rules, like for like training here, which is like having a shower. Like that's like a core one I don't really mess around with. But
That'd be nice.
Transparently, they're not a sponsor of mine, but I always keep Defense Wipes with me. So you can get them on Amazon. We do have them on our storefront, but they're not a sponsor yet. We'll work on that. But like one of the big things is A, having a shower, B, being able to like actually have that separation from like it being a business and like it being a personal thing. Like, because it can get like, I'm curious your experience with that too. It can get very blurred.
Enmeshed.
Yeah. Like, and so for example, like it's not just like it's just trying to figure out how to word this on Amazon, because Amazon is very particular about some of the wording you use. You're not like crossing certain lines, like with your members. or with your staff. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which also like I that's what I do like about Rogue and having their core principles and mission statements, which is what made up for the fact, because transparently here in Asheville, there's American Top Team. And then when I first, I don't know, I want to say Gracie Jiu-Jitsu was here or Gracie Baja, but like I don't know when it started because I only went to American Top Team and I was actually going to like potentially go there at first because I was working over there too, but I picked Rogue. So I say all this to say, I wonder how you ended up at Rogue and like how you decided on Rogue too. If that makes sense.
So I was looking for someplace. For me, I always want someplace that has stand up and ground. Right?
So you
So
get both.
that's an important or an MMA level, some level of MMA training, right? So that
Got it.
That you're
Goes back to stay ready.
staying ready, standing up or on the ground, right?
Makes
you need
sense.
to have effective combatives. And I saw that for me, everybody has, for folks that aren't martial artists, you may not realize this, but if you danced at all, you will realize that martial arts is very expressive. How you are, what your imagination and your personality very much come out in the way that you attack or defend in martial arts, right? Like I am very heavy, steady, relentless pressure, top wrestling, that style. Now some people are guard players who lay back and they lay traps and you fall into them and they win that way. It just depends on what you like. Rogue had a pretty heavy wrestling, submission wrestling, catch wrestling style that spoke to me and works for me and works for how I like to train. And having Muay Thai with some good guys here locally really, really sold it for me. Also for me, like you said, I have a checklist. Do they have some sort of early day class at 10 a.m. or noon? I need that because I'm in my shop in the late afternoon until the evening. So I need a morning or early afternoon class, and I need to be able to train on both domains, the ground and standing up.
Got it.
And are they a place that is all about their brand and the business, or are they a place that builds a community?
Ooh,
right?
that's a good one too.
I was in CrossFit for a long time, and CrossFit speaks to so many people because of the community that you get there. I very much like being part of a community, a part of a team, part of a tribe. And Rogue does a lot of that. They do a lot to foster that feeling and connection between themselves and the members. So those were like the main things that led me there. And, Johnny and I are ideologically opposed, so it's fun to go in and argue with somebody all the time.
Yeah, have that like verbal sparring as well, or like mental sparring.
Yeah, so no matter what side of the aisle, so to speak, you sit on, the thing that you can say about Johnny is he actually does the work to make the world better, right?
Sure. Yeah.
He may talk. Johnny Buck says some crazy stuff.
He
says some crazy stuff.
That he does.
Wildly offensive sometimes. But what he also does is he goes down to Man Food Bank and takes the whole tribe, and everybody donates time, and he will do other charity events, and he will do, like we have at my shop, we've done coat drives, and we did them with Rogue, and we've done food drives and different things where it's one thing to talk about your principles, it's another to act on doing what you can to fix the world. And so regardless of how you feel about Rogue or Johnny Buck, they actually do the work, even if he and I argue about politics every time we talk.
And I think that's like going back
to
even the culture component or the community component. I think that's such an important piece that's really hard to like, you can't see that on paper, right? You can't see that on a website. That's something you have to just go down and experience and be able to have. And I think that's what's like also was valuable for me was being able to go down and train and be able to like interact, because that was like at the time I was actually not like fully decided on being retired. So I was like, all right, I have to factor for like, can I get better as a fighter here too? Which is a different, maybe, I don't know, like maybe they all kind of align, but like for me, it was slightly different than like, okay, can I improve at a different pace? Right. Cause like, even it's different training like every day, multiple times a day versus like 4 5 times a week, which is still a lot. Like that's like a lot of bandwidth to allocate. Even twice a week is like maybe what most people are doing, or like a minimum effective dose that we talk about. So I think that's just something to like, I guess I always like to like look at as well.
Just fair, right? If you just want to know what you're doing and be safe in general, like once a week is plenty of ground for somebody that's not competing or just wants to be, just learning, or just wants to be aware of what to do if somebody tackles them, grabs them, jumps on them. You will know the answers with just once a week in pretty short order. Less than a year, probably.
And I think it's like just being able to create. I'm also gonna like, you guys are gonna notice I'm gonna have this little hand fidgeter toy that we like. I'm gonna highlight on Amazon, which like I just like fidgeting with things as we go through things. So I'll kind of be able to multitask here in that capacity of it. But that idea and being able to even like once a week, but it's like that's where I get torn sometimes with like seminars too, and being able to have like, okay, yeah, cool, we'll like learn these techniques, but unless you have a plan to implement at the end of it, how is that going to show? You can't just like go to like one self-defense seminar and be like, I'm good now. Like, you know what I'm saying?
People do.
100%. And like, I think it's better than nothing, right? And then all right, so this is a good example of hand gestures, by the way. You see that? Use your hand gesture. You can control the OBS bot camera that we have. So not only does it have like locking mechanisms, so it can lock onto you, but you can also, if you put your left hand up and make like an L next to your face, see how it zooms in? Whoa. And then you can put it back up again, and it'll zoom out.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's like some Jedi stuff.
Yeah.
What about if I point that way?
And then if I put this hand up, it'll lock onto me. So that's like the motion control. Now there's a new version of this
Jedi stuff.
Yeah, it's cool, right? So now I'm going to swipe over. I'm going to highlight OBS bot. They have a new camera they rolled out with that's also audio controlled as well. So you could say, hey, turn to the left, or whatever gesture or action you want to give it. And it'll be able to, we're within like its parameters, right? Like you can't just like say, hey, like do a backflip. Like it's going to have obviously limiting variables. But I just think that's cool. Like, and this is cool. Even going back to school, one of the things I think about, right? You're, hey, and the other component is I have this, Christian can see this. You guys can't as much. I'll do a little screen share so you guys can see this as well. There is a free download that comes with this that allows you to either, let's say, turn the locking on and off. You can move the gimbal component around, but if it's locked, it'll go back. I can zoom in, we can zoom out, we can control. And then there's also presets. So I go to a presetting. I had it from the other location. This was like back at my house, and now it's just like panning around. Yeah. So we don't want to do that. We'll bring it back. And that's preset 2. Well, it's preset 3. I forgot. I think this is from Joshua Tree when we were out there. But again, I could save it and say, okay, this is going to be preset 1. That's already going to preset 1. But you have to hold it. Oh, let me hold it. And now we'll program that as preset 1. And then again, there's so many cool controls and aspects I can always preset. Oh, no. Oh, no. It's like, now we're going to preset 1.
It's arguing with you.
Let's zoom back out. So again, I just think that's a cool component. I think about, so I've had a couple of people that have watched that are either like remote employees that do presentations. And like, I like to walk while I do presentations, to be able to pace back and forth in front of a board, a professor, even in like once COVID first started happening, going back to school and being able to have this option. I also like it, believe it or not, when I talk to my clients, being able to have this for them if they're doing workouts at home and they want to set up their camera and it just tracks them while we're working out. It also becomes really cool and simple as well. So anyways, just a random detour. I'm going to stop sharing here so you guys can kind of see that. But again, it's just something cool that comes with it as well. It makes it just an easier overall user experience. Let's see. Speaking of, I'm kind of curious if you guys have any products that you want me to dig into, and it kind of going to pause. I'm probably going to end up not hitting all of these. We have like 40 products in the carousel today. We're definitely not going to hit all these products. But again, I appreciate you guys. And also, Christian, thanks for coming down because, like, again, we're experimenting. I already got a text message on some feedback. So, guys, keep giving feedback on, what you're seeing, how the audio is, the layout, the lighting. I'm probably going to order more lights. I got my green screen over here. We'll update these lights. Also, speaking of lights, I do have some bulbs that we got in, some smart bulbs. These are super cool. I've never seen these before. The bulbs that we have, I don't have them here. I realized I left them in the garage, but I'll pull them up just so you guys, and I'll highlight them on the live stream so you can see them. And just stay tuned because I'll be making shoppable videos. These are supposedly remote and rechargeable bulbs. So you can remote control them with Bluetooth and you can recharge them, which I thought was pretty cool. I've never seen before.
Are they like multiple smaller LEDs inside the bulb, and that's how you?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know. I haven't like I literally just got the box for them, but that's why I haven't actually tested them. So this would have been fun for you to be here, because also fun fact about one of Christian's businesses is I imagine you had lighting and like LED components to it and like the vehicles.
Oh yeah, the limos, yeah.
So you can kind of see like, again, charging, fully charged for the lighting from red to green, even just little things like that. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm curious to see those. That's cool.
So that'll be something I'm also going to set up for next week. Next week's going to be probably our last test run through before we go to our actual full live. And then notice also it started as a cube, right, guys? Now it's like this fully laid out, like interesting little component. And you can make it into all these different like objects.
It's like the fidget transformer.
It's super cool. I love this thing. What I like to do too, while I'm warming up, I'll stand on a balance board and try and maintain my balance, and I play this just for like the cognitive and this like nervous system firing.
Do that, like 2 knees on a medicine ball and try to like do stuff while
exactly.
Medicine ball,
A physio ball.
Yeah,
that to me is like the most. And maybe this is just from like when because like when I first started learning jiu-jitsu, it was like Marcelo Garcia was big, Henzo was still like competing, and it was just like. Maybe, I don't know, like it was, I saw a lot of physio ball drills, like people balancing on the ball and then doing different types of solo drills.
Rolling around.
Yeah, exactly. Different movements like that, which I still see a little bit now, but I see less of it for some reason. I don't know. I'm curious if you see more or less of it now over the last like 5 or 10 years, especially.
It used to be around a lot. I do remember everybody was doing weird, like rolling, falling off of it stuff.
Yeah, and doing those kind of sequence drills. So, all right, guys, what we're going to do is I'm going to finish with that, and then I want to kick it back to you, though, Christian. And then we're going to actually end up doing this. I'm going to sneak this for another Shopwell video. We won't do this during the live. I got a bunch of content I'm going to do that you guys will see in the shop coming in the next week or so that we didn't get a chance to touch on during the live stream component of it. But with that being said, I want to know what's next for you, Christian. What can the audience expect? Because we're going to have you come back on. Obviously, we'll get to cross compare from a production and all this fun stuff, so that'll be cool. And when you come back on, let's say anywhere from at least a month from now,
okay,
what are you going to be working on? What can they expect from you? Putting you on the spot a little bit.
A little bit, but I have been really brainstorming on what Stay Ready is, and I think that's going to be what I'm working on right now, is sort of creating a brand around the idea of Stay Ready, and sort of over time figure out who that speaks to really, and start presenting things to them similar to what you're doing here. Hopefully I can start talking about some products, talking about some lifestyle decisions, some food decisions, some training decisions, some equipment that I use for that stuff, and try to like create a resource for folks that also helps motivate them, right? I'll be 50 in October. You see a 50-year-old man throwing down, then you know you can do it. I'm older than Yoda, so if I can do it, anybody can be out there. And it's not. I'm also working in my mind on how to make it so that it is not gender specific, not just for dads, but for moms or anyone that wants to embrace that kind of like, I need to be prepared for things that go wrong in life.
Yeah, things don't always go according to plan, and
or
ever, exactly. And when you pretend like you're like, I'll just not deal with that, that can be even more stressful than just facing it head on and incorporating that aspect of it. So awesome. I look forward to it. And I appreciate you again, just like coming on. And again, I appreciate you guys for the feedback that people have been texting and sharing, and the messages, the comments, the interactions. Again, we'll be continuously like playing with this for this week and next week, but stay tuned for our social media channels to see the new schedule, new stuff we got rolling out, even some videos we're going to make from this. And I'd love to hear from you guys, what you guys think, or maybe something we might have missed. With that being said, I will see you guys next week. We're going to shoot for, again, Wednesday. Stay tuned for the live streaming schedule. And actually, I'll show you guys really quick. If you are uncertain, let me show you guys what you can do to stay up to date on our schedule. Boom. So watching, let's say here on Amazon, you can go to, since I'm logged in, I can't actually do this. We're going to go to Amazon Live. You can not only go to our Discover, but you can also follow. There should be a follow button here. If you're not following, just click that follow button. Look, just like this. Boom. Say you're following. Notice how I even just got a little notification. I'll get notified too, so we'll know. Appreciate all the follows. And then the last thing, this tags into the giveaway component for those that stayed all the way till the end. To get the giveaway, all I want you guys to do is just go to, let me pull it up really quick and I'll share with you guys. Go over to our 28-day reset. Actually, you guys, I'll let you pick. You can go to either the 28-day reset, the barbecue cookbook, or the slow cooker recipe pack, which the slow cooker especially, I feel like that's a good fit for the fall because you can set it, forget it as the weather starts to change. Chili soups, so delicious, very comforting. Pick any one of those and you can get it for free. I will set up a day where everyone will be able to download their book of choice for free. Just shoot us an email or a DM on however you're watching this. And that's going to be my bonus giveaway to you guys. Any one of these books, from the slow cooker to the 28-day reset, to the barbecue recipe pack, or if when we roll out with the dessert book that's going to be coming out here in the next month, you can be able to get that as well. So all them gains, y'all, and in enjoying it too. Let's actually go to one more time in case you guys want to see. If you feel like you're missing out, you don't have to. Now, it doesn't mean it has to be any one of these exact, but we're going to play with a lot of these fun types of recipes so that this bad boy right here.
There you go, middle top.
Oh, the top, this one. Oh, watch it going down live. So we're going to work on also like, hey, how do we make this a little bit more protein heavy, a little bit less sugar, a little more fiber? And we'll go over that as well in these dessert books, how you could take some of your favorite things, whether it's Pop-Tarts or funnel cake, and how you can start to incorporate that. It doesn't have to be something that you never get to have anymore. This is like finding that balance. Again, it's a lifestyle, guys. So,
and if you work at it, you can. I've made
we'll look at
gluten-free funnel cake,
pull this out.
gluten-free fried Oreos. So when you're trying to adjust for some folks that have those specialized dietary needs, you can do that. I can even make vegan funnel cake.
See, you got options. We always got options. So it's, again, about making it a lifestyle. So that being said, one more time, Christian, cheers, everybody. We'll see you later.